I posted some information that was, basically trying to save my life. And thank goodness to my ex, the wonderful Kim Porter, the late Kim Porter, who, kind of warned me all along the way to, just kind of watch your back, so on and so forth. And I didn't understand why.
Because of Diddy.
Basically.
Model and longtime girlfriend of entertainer Sean Diddy Combs, Kim Porter, was laid to rest yesterday in her hometown of Columbus, Georgia. Funeral taking place at Cascade Hills Church. Porter leaves behind 3 children with Combs and an older son by singer Al B. Sure. Celebrity pastor T.D. Jakes did the eulogy for the funeral. Porter was found dead in her Los Angeles home last Thursday. Authorities say she went into cardiac arrest while fighting flu-like symptoms. She was 47 years old.
Do you believe that she died of pneumonia?
Absolutely not.
I would say rather mysterious circumstances that Diddy had something to do with the death of his ex-partner and the mother to his children, a woman named Kim Porter. Now, what happened was she mysteriously died of pneumonia at the age of 47. Not the typical way that a 47-year-old goes out, especially just when they are about to publish a tell-all book on their very famous ex, Diddy. That's what happened to Kim. She died of pneumonia at the age of 47 years old.
What if the truth was hiding in plain sight all along? For years, R&B singer and music producer Al B. Sure has been dropping hints, some cryptic, some direct, about the death of Kim Porter, the longtime partner of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. But now, those quiet warnings have grown into a full-blown outcry. Al B. Sure isn't just speaking anymore, he's preparing to testify. And what he's been saying has the potential to turn the Diddy saga on its head. What really happened to Kim Porter in the final days of her life? Why has Al B. Sure repeatedly claimed there's more to the story? And how did we go from cryptic Instagram posts to a courtroom where decades of secrets may finally come to light? Strap in, because this one runs deep.
Speaking of Kim Porter, because you knew Kim Porter, is it true that Diddy broke her nose?
Bust her nose, man. But it was all, insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity.
And the timeline is packed with real events, not rumors. Kim Porter passed away on November 15th, 2018, at just 47 years old. The official cause of death was listed as lobar pneumonia, and initial reports described the tragedy as sudden, though not suspicious. But almost immediately, fans and those close to her started questioning the circumstances. Among the loudest voices, Al B. Sure. The two share a son, actor and musician Quincy Brown, and had a long-standing personal connection long before Kim entered a relationship with Diddy. In the wake of her passing, Al B. Sure expressed grief and confusion, particularly about what he believed to be inconsistencies in the public narrative. In 2020, he posted a since-deleted video on Instagram, recorded at the exact moment he learned of Kim's death. In his caption, Al wrote that her passing wrecked him and described feeling as though his soul had been ripped from his body. He also wrote, "I do know very clearly that Kimberly didn't just check out all of a sudden over pneumonia. That's some bull." Though he didn't offer specific evidence to contradict the autopsy findings, the statement drew widespread attention, especially when he added another layer. He tagged Diddy in the post. That wasn't the only time he made public remarks about Kim's death. In November 2021, Al claimed in another social media post that before her passing, Kim had been running from something and that he had told her to call the FBI. However, that part of the post was later edited out and replaced with a caption about her running a marathon. While some saw it as a metaphor, others questioned why he would remove the more alarming portion so quickly. He never directly addressed the edit, and no follow-up clarification came. But the damage, or perhaps the message, was already out. Fast forward to 2024, and Al B. Sure isn't just posting anymore. He's participating in interviews and hinting at deeper involvement in the legal case swirling around Diddy. In March, during a segment on Fox Soul, he confirmed that he had been subpoenaed in connection with the ongoing investigations into Diddy.
One thing is, you have volunteered to testify at the trial, correct?
Not as of yet. Actually, I was subpoenaed.
Okay.
So my attorneys worked something out. So I believe when the time is right, I'm going to discuss it with my attorneys.
But you're willing to?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I am. And again, this is There's no, like I said, this is not marketing for me. I'm living this life. And
So
the
let me
only
ask-
reason I wanted to tell the story.
While he stopped short of detailing exactly what he intends to say under oath, Al did state publicly that he is absolutely willing to testify and that his legal team is working out the logistics. Al also confirmed that he's releasing a memoir later this year titled Do You Believe Me?, where he plans to outline what he says are years of being dismissed and gaslighted regarding his warnings about the entertainment industry. The book, according to Al, will dive into not just his personal experiences with Kim Porter and Diddy, but also his own unexplained health crisis in 2022, when he slipped into a coma due to organ failure. That incident, though never officially linked to any outside party, is something Al continues to reference as part of a larger narrative he believes is connected. In a 2022 interview after recovering from the coma, Al stated, "At some point, you're going to have to call Homeland Security to figure this out." He's never directly accused Diddy of being involved, but he's made multiple remarks implying that he believes powerful individuals may have had a hand in his health collapse, or at the very least, had reason to see him silenced.
So do you think specifically then that Sean Diddy Combs or people affiliated with him did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure?
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Wow.
My first time saying it.
Are you concerned that he still has power outside of incarceration?
Remember, I'm the only one who spoke up, and I'm the only one left alive.
Again, there is no medical documentation or public investigation confirming foul play in Al's coma, but his repeated allusions continue to stir conversation. The layers go even deeper when you revisit Kim Porter's own life. Before she passed, Kim and Diddy had 3 children together, twin daughters, and their son, Christian. Despite being in an on-again, off-again relationship with Diddy for over a decade, Kim maintained a relatively private public image. However, in the days leading up to her death, reports indicate she had been battling flu-like symptoms. According to a coroner's report, the pneumonia she was diagnosed with became aggressive and ultimately fatal. Yet, even now, 5 years later, Al B. Sure maintains that there were signs of something more sinister at play. One of the most circulated claims came in the form of a text Kim reportedly sent the night before her passing, saying, "He got me." This line was widely discussed across social media platforms and in YouTube videos, but no official source has ever confirmed that such a message existed. Nevertheless, it has become a part of the broader mystery for many fans, and Al B. Sure has done little to dispel the association. In fact, he's often reposted fan comments or news headlines that suggest darker themes without adding his own verification, but without denying them either. Still, for all the cryptic messaging and unanswered questions, there's no denying that the case has re-entered public consciousness at a critical time for Diddy. In recent months, Diddy has faced multiple legal battles and accusations unrelated to Kim Porter's death, ranging from civil lawsuits to federal investigations. Amid this storm of controversy, the spotlight has turned toward his past relationships and associates, with fans and investigators alike re-examining stories that once seemed buried. And right at the center of this resurgence, Al B. Sure, now more vocal than ever. But Al's resurgence isn't just about tweets and interviews, he's also planning to release a documentary that he claims will shock the world. The focus of the film hasn't been entirely disclosed, but during a live stream, Al described it as a deep dive into his life story, which includes everything from his early music success to his health scare, and yes, his relationship with Kim. "You'll understand how I ended up in a coma," he said ominously. "Hold on to your britches." As this case continues to unfold, one thing is clear. Al B. Sure believes he was ignored for too long, and now he's determined to make his voice heard, whether in court, in interviews, or through his upcoming memoir. Unlike speculative gossip, this isn't a story built on wild fan theories. It's a story told by someone who was close to Kim Porter and is now officially involved in a legal capacity. While Al B. Sure's story continues to gain traction, it's important to note that his involvement in the case is not voluntary. It's legal. During a live interview, Al revealed that he was subpoenaed in connection to Diddy's ongoing legal troubles. That detail is crucial. It signals that whatever he knows isn't just tabloid fodder, it's now part of a formal investigation. Al emphasized that he's working closely with his attorneys and intends to comply with the legal process. He made it clear this isn't about chasing clout or getting back into the spotlight. "This isn't a PR stunt," he said. "I'm just living my truth." Still, that truth hasn't always gone over well with the public. Al has faced heavy backlash over the years for what some people viewed as attention-seeking behavior. Critics pointed to his cryptic Instagram posts, his sometimes emotional captions, and his persistent references to Kim Porter's passing as evidence that he was exploiting her death for sympathy or relevance. When he reacted publicly to an extra headline about Kim allegedly keeping a diary of secrets about Diddy, many brushed him off. In the caption of that post, Al simply wrote 2009 through 2018. It was vague but suggestive, enough to fuel speculation, but not enough to provide clarity. And for some, that was the problem. Even Kim and Diddy's son, Quincy Brown, publicly asked people to stop fueling conspiracies about his mother's death, saying it was deeply painful for him and his siblings. Shortly after that statement, Al posted even more cryptic messages, causing some to accuse him of stirring the pot rather than protecting Quincy or his siblings. One of the more controversial moments came when Al openly questioned why Quincy was still following Diddy on social media, something many felt was inappropriate and divisive. It raised an uncomfortable question about Al's true motives. Was he genuinely fighting for Kim's legacy, or was he lashing out over personal grievances? But even Al's harshest critics tend to agree on one point: he's been consistent. Since the day Kim passed, he hasn't changed his story. He's repeated the same suspicions, drawn attention to the same red flags, and insisted the official narrative doesn't add up. And now, with legal action circling Diddy from multiple angles, that consistency is hitting different. Al has long maintained that he's not just guessing, he's speaking from direct personal experience. And that detail is exactly why his testimony, if it does happen, could be such a game changer. There's also a broader pattern that has drawn attention: the number of people from Diddy's inner circle who are no longer here. Kim Porter, Andre Harrell, and Heavy D all passed away between 2011 and 2020. All three had personal or professional ties to Diddy that stretched back to the early days of Uptown Records. While their causes of death were ruled natural, heart attacks in 2 cases, pneumonia in Kim's, the sheer number of losses within a small network has prompted some to re-examine the timeline. It's important to be clear, there is no evidence of foul play in those deaths, but in the context of Al's ongoing narrative, it has certainly intensified public curiosity. Meanwhile, Diddy has remained largely silent about Al B. Sure's statements. He hasn't responded to the allegations directly and hasn't made public comments about the subpoena or any possible testimony. Instead, his legal team has focused on addressing the broader federal investigation, which includes civil lawsuits alleging misconduct and abuse. These cases, while separate from the Kim Porter matter, have reignited scrutiny into Diddy's past behavior, his relationships, and the culture around him. What makes Al's story particularly compelling is the way it cuts through the noise. He's not a random outsider with an axe to grind. He was part of Kim Porter's life before and after Diddy entered the picture. He co-parented with her, he shared artistic milestones with her, and he was still in her orbit up until her passing. That makes his voice harder to dismiss and harder to ignore. And now, with the upcoming release of his memoir, Do You Believe Me?, the stakes have never been higher. The memoir, according to Al, will cover everything: his music career, his near-death health scare, and his views on the music industry's dark side. But perhaps most importantly, it will also document what he believes happened to Kim Porter. He has said publicly that he plans to name names, clarify timelines, and show why he believes Kim's death warrants a second look. Whether the book will provide new, concrete evidence remains to be seen. But what's clear is that Al B. Sure is no longer afraid of being doubted, dismissed, or discredited. And maybe that's the real story here: the transformation of a man who spent years being mocked for speaking out, only to have the world slowly start to listen. Whether Al's testimony ultimately changes the trajectory of Diddy's legal battles is still unknown. But his emergence as a key voice in this saga shows how quickly the narrative can shift, from Instagram captions to subpoenaed witness. It's a wild arc, and it's far from over. As viewers, we have to tread carefully. It's tempting to jump to conclusions, especially in high-profile cases with emotional stakes, but the facts matter, and what we know for sure is this: Al B. Sure has made public statements, appeared in verified interviews, and been subpoenaed in an official legal case connected to Diddy. Everything else? That's for the courtroom to decide. Still, you can't ignore the chilling feeling that lingers: the texts, the social posts, the interviews, the eerie timing of so many people around the same circle suddenly being gone. Whether or not it adds up to anything legally actionable, one thing is undeniable: it adds up to something worth talking about. And maybe, just maybe, it's finally time to listen to the man who's been talking this whole time. If you made it this far, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe Al B. Sure has been telling the truth all along? Should his upcoming testimony be taken seriously? Or is he still just a voice on the outside looking in? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated as this story unfolds, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.